Uh, Thank you, Chairwoman Cantwell. Before I recognize Senator Hickenlooper, I wanted to make the statement that she's asked me to make describing how I received my FAA airman certificates. Basically, when I was going through flight school, an FAA regional office administrator came in and talked to the class and said, if any of you want to get your FAA commercial instrument rotorcraft license, take the weekend, come to this course, intensive 12 hours, 2 days, at the end of which we took the written test for the commercial pilot test. When we did that, upon graduation from flight school at Fort Rucker, Alabama, I received my FAA license as a commercial instrument rotorcraft pilot. I was one of maybe 4 who took the time to go do that, and the rest of my class did not. So what we have here is a problem, and this is what I was trying to do with my Troop Talent Act, is that the DoD schoolhouse did not set aside the time, didn't want to set aside the time of an additional 2 or 3 days to allow the FAA to come in, teach the classes, because what you needed to be able to pass that commercial test was not what we were getting as Black Hawk pilots in the Army. So you needed to still be able to meet the FAA licensure requirements. But the DoD did not provide that space for that testing to happen. And so it's on the individual to take your time off to go do that and pay additional the testing fees. What was good was that the FAA regional office had this agreement at Fort Rucker, Alabama, this one place to provide that. And so when I graduated, from the time that I graduated, every flight hour I flew as a military pilot counted towards my FAA totals. Now, my colleagues who did not do that then had to use a GI Bill or whatever it is to go and take all of the, flight training and take all of the check rides and all of that to get their commercial pilot license. And then they started logging time as commercial pilots when they had all this time flying a complex aircraft, dual engine complex aircraft. And so this is the type of thing we need to work out. We've solved this for the CDL. Senator Sullivan mentioned this earlier, because we now work with the individual secretaries of state in each of the states to provide a CDL to someone who graduates from the military truck driving school, so that when they graduate from truck driving school and they get the military driver's license for a tractor trailer driver, they also get a CDL. So that no longer do you have people who are driving military tractor trailers for 200,000 miles in combat being told, sorry, you have no over-the-road experience as far as the Secretary of State is concerned. You got to waste your GI Bill money, go do that, and now you're still shown as having no experience when you actually drove 200,000 miles under enemy fire. So we got to figure this out. And same with mechanics, right? Just because you graduated from crew chief school doesn't mean you're a qualified A&P mechanic, because there's additional requirements. And we should make that space within the DoD. So let's work on the pipeline. I'll work with my colleagues. We might come to you to see what we can do to try to get that. And it may be individual schools, civilian commercial schools, that would be willing to work with the various flight schools that exist within the military to provide that certification and that testing. With that, I'm going to recognize Senator Hickenlooper.